Well, the National African Federated Chamber of Commerce and Industry, NAFCOC, released a statement yesterday announcing the re-election of Lawrence Mavundla as its president of the body. The statement said an almost entirely new structure and executive were elected. Mr Mavundla is also the chairman of the Black Business Council. But a group under Reverend Joe Hlongwane has completely dismissed the re-election of Mr Mavundla, saying the Reverend remains the elected president. Well, I'm joined now by Reverend Joe Hlongwane. Reverend, thanks very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, this leadership dispute has certainly paralyzed NAFCOC since about December 2012. Just give us some context here. Why isn't it resolved?
Yeah, I was actually surprised that a statement like that was issued by the media. I think sometimes the media should talk to the other side before they release statements. As we were reading the newspapers, some of his people, the core executive, which is known, had come to see me to say, we don't know what happened. Apparently the elections were not even supposed to be there. I'm also surprised that Mavundla would call for elections at a time like this. It's only about 4 days to our conference, 50th anniversary. He did that last year when we had a conference. He's always a detractor. He comes at the wrong time to try and get people to get the wrong message about things. And unfortunately, people didn't take him seriously. And we had an audience of about 2,000 people. And of course, government officials came to grace the occasion. Now this is very, very important. And by the way, I'm one of the stalwarts of NAFCOC. I'm the 5th president. And I was president before Mavundla even ever thought he would come to Joburg, I think.
All right, but the present situation is very concerning. How did we get here, Reverend?
We shouldn't even get there. That is what I'm saying. There is no Mavundla who is a president. First of all, when I was re-elected again for the second time in 2012, he took issue and he took us to court. He lost the case. He appealed, lost the case. He has now appealed for the second time. And before we even go to court, which should be about 2 months or a month ahead, he's already calling people to elect him. This is just surprising what kind of a person he is. And of course, some of the people said that they would not be a part of that because they're waiting for the court case to come.
Right.
So really, I was surprised that the AN7, is it? Mm-hmm. They published it without even talking to us. And I think also Business Day and the Sowetan. I think fair comment should come from both sides, and that didn't happen.
Fair enough. I took a look at the website this morning just to get some background, and I see the website, the NAFCOC website, is pushing forward Mr Mavundla as president, and it has a mention of everything you would find on the NAFCOC website prior to this election. Why don't you have control over that?
Well, the first thing is that you know that the website is owned. And while we are waiting for the case to come to conclusion, we cannot change things there. Yep. But it doesn't mean he's president, really. And you look at the numbers, you look at what's happening on the ground, they haven't got members. Even people who they say elected them. It was just a shame. It was not a proper election.
Okay. So as I understand it now, I mean, this decision has been appealed time and time again with Mr Mavundla in the court. And incidentally, we tried to get hold of him later, earlier in the day, and we certainly will try a little later. We were unavailable. He was unavailable. But let me get back to the decisions at the court. What happens while the court decides on this issue? The core function of NAFCOC, supporting black businesses and making sure it has an inclusion in the broad economy, what happens to that core function? Is that still continuing, and who's taking care of it?
Well, let me first of all say that I'm becoming president for the second time. I shouldn't have been here. I'm here because people were disgruntled. They called me, they asked me to take over, and the whole council of NAFCOC elected me on the 12th of December. Why is it not happening? You have that kind of people who disregard law, who disregard a court ruling and so on. We haven't got time to run after Mavundla. He is trying to get us to be in the media and so on. I've ignored it. I don't think it is necessary. We are just continuing with what we have to do. And I think the government knows where we are going. We have discussed with the leadership of the ANC. They know where we are at. And Mavundla knows that in a month or 2 months' time, he will not be saying what he's saying right now.
So what happens from here now? I mean, obviously NAFCOC has to be talking to government, given the organisation it is.
Yes.
Which faction, if you like, if I may use that, is talking to government?
There shouldn't be a faction.
Quite.
There shouldn't be a faction. I mean, if a court rules in favour of the other group, why should you continue? And it's a situation we cannot control. He's that kind of person. He doesn't care what happens. And this is South Africa. You know, we just follow the law. We know that the law made a ruling against them. And in that ruling, by the way, only 6 of them were to pay costs, not all of NAFCOC, because the court did not believe that the whole thing was brought about by all of NAFCOC.
When do you think we're going to see NAFCOC as a dispute-free body doing its function? I
can assure you from December this year, there will be no 2 NAFCOCs. If anything happens, I think we will now, I will be surprised if anything happens, because there are 2 things that must happen. It's either the court rules in their favor, and I can assure you, if the court rules in their favor, I won't make this kind of noise because it doesn't make sense. Now, I'm just surprised that after the court rules and you appeal, the appeal is refused. You appeal now for the 2nd time, and you're waiting for a court case, and you still call yourself a president, and you go to a place and you get people to elect you who don't even qualify to elect you.
Reverend, I'm afraid
that is where it is.
I'm going to have to leave it there. Thanks very much indeed for coming in and talking to us. Reverend Joe Hlongwane, thanks indeed for your time.
I would have liked to say this about our conference.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. We are actually celebrating a half centenary. NAFCOC was established in 1964. And some of these old men are still there, Maponya, Nkonyene, Mtsonyane, and myself. And we'll be there. And we are asking everybody to go to the ICC. As a matter of fact, some of Mavundla's people have asked to come to the conference. We are now having a problem to accommodate them because we didn't have them in our mind.
Reverend, I'm going to have to leave it here. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.